You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, an excess of items making a fire difficult to put out, infidelity and turning it into a dangerous situation.
But first, after more than 100 years in business, Knott's grocery store in Miami, Oklahoma is shutting its doors.
And we've got an absolutely amazing end to 2025 as temperatures continue to climb. Look at your forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. now on this last day of the year, December 31st. Happy New Year's Eve day to all of you out there. And it's been a wild 2025. I know we've been recapping all of the things going on. And at least from the weather side, it's being nice to us. It's going to be a pretty decent day, not too bad tomorrow, but some big changes coming for Miami, Oklahoma.
You know, as the year ends, a lot of things come to a close as well. And after more than 100 years in business, Knott's grocery store in Miami is closing.
KOAM's Blake Gully spoke with the owner and community members about the memories made inside the family-owned store.
If you grew up in Miami, you know about Knott's. If you grew up in Ottawa County, you know about Knott's Grocery.
The family-owned grocery store has been a staple in Miami for generations, holding memories for countless families.
And it's a sad day for me because, you know, again, I grew up with my grandfather who's passed away coming here. My dad brought me here. I brought my grandkids here, my kids. It's kind of a family tradition to come to Knott's.
Over the years, the store has welcomed customers from across the country and even overseas, including a couple who share the Knott last name.
We even had a couple come in probably 8-9 years ago, and they're from England. I forget what town, but their last name was Knott, N-O-T-T also, and so they didn't know whether they, and through ancestry, were related or not, and we never checked on it. But like I say, many people have come in, local, out of state, out of the country.
These shelves have served the community for over 100 years, and while customers remember the deli and familiar faces, for the owner, this moment is about the legacy his family began generations ago.
We only lived a block and a half away from here, and I was down here every day. If I wasn't in school, I was here at the store watching TV or just running around drinking soda pop and eating candy. And I asked my grandpa, can I have a Coke? Can I have a candy? Yeah, oh yeah, go ahead. So anyway, it's fantastic, and I've had 72 years of great times. Very lucky.
The residents of Miami say they are grateful for the impact the Knott family has had on the community. Reported in Miami, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
The mayor of Miami hopes the local grocery store can remain open in the future under new ownership.
Of course, I mean, it's a great legacy store for somebody if they are interested, if the Knotts are interested in passing that torch, because it obviously has such a significant impact on the community of Miami.
I mean, I've reported in Miami quite a bit, and every time I drove by Knott's, there was, especially around lunchtime, there was a line out the door.
It's always a busy place, so it's a guaranteed win if somebody's interested in taking on that challenge. Again, if the Knotts are interested in passing on that challenge. And Mother Nature has given us plenty of challenges this year. We've had some pretty significant severe weather through the year. We've had very hot days. We've had very cold days. And thankfully, just being a little nicer today as we wrap up 2025, as we got a pretty nice wrap-up day for us. Let's start, though, with our look outside downtown Pittsburgh, looking at the sunrise this morning. A few clouds well off to our east. Otherwise, clear skies for us. A nice day. It is a bit chilly out there, but it could be worse. It has been worse just in the last few days. And I'm going to stay out of the way for a second. Another just great shot of that sunrise from 7th and Range Line in Joplin. It looks fantastic. Now, KDOT camera, 69-400, looking along 171. Looks good so far. And a last stop at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Looking good as well. Let's take a look at those chilly temperatures. We're 29 in Joplin, 25 in Pittsburgh. So some of us close to or even a bit below normal this morning. Others are a bit above normal as we've got a pretty good mix of temperatures. Miami is still the cold spot right now at 18 degrees. The warm spot looks to be Cassville, still sitting at 31, up tied now with Fort Scott. We've got a mix of the low, mid, and upper 20s though for the most part. And even though it's still pretty darn cold in Miami, you're still 4 degrees warmer than yesterday. You're on the positive side. You're not colder than yesterday. That's certainly good. Grove's only 3 degrees warmer, but most of us out there are anywhere from 10, 15, almost 20 degrees warmer now than where we were 24 hours ago. So a nice change in those temperatures, and those temperatures will continue to climb into the afternoon. Watch the time bar on the future track, and the reason you want to watch it is because when I press the button that makes it go, this doesn't really do much. That's what I mean. We've got a fantastic day. Clear skies, west winds 5 to 10. Not much to worry about for the last day of 2025. We're going to go low 30s by 9, upper 40s by noon. Our highs today climbing into the low to mid 50s, and again, a west breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to break down your New Year's Eve forecast, talk about some rain chances this week, and another system we're keeping an eye on next week here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Firefighters responded to reports of a structure fire in Fidelity, Missouri yesterday. Authorities say it was a cooking fire that quickly spread throughout the home. Due to the large number of items in the yard, firefighters were unable to park their trucks on the property and had to fight the fire from a neighboring residence. Fire crews were also unable to enter the home due to the many items that had caught fire inside. Firefighters cut a hole in the side of the house to access the inside with water. The single male resident made it out safely, and the Red Cross is assisting the displaced individual. Cherokee County Sheriff's deputies need your help identifying suspects in a string of post office burglaries. 3 post offices were hit on December 16th, Weir, West Mineral, and Scammon. Surveillance video shows a white SUV and 2 suspects hitting the Weir post office just before midnight. The same vehicle appears at West Mineral around 11 p.m. that same night. The Scammon office was burglarized on the 16th or 17th. Investigators are asking anyone who recognizes the white SUV or saw suspicious activity to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. The Missouri State Auditor's Office is investigating claims that $184,000 is missing from the city of Goodman. Goodman's police chief requested the investigation after alleging the money disappeared from city accounts. But Mayor Clay Sexton disputes that claim. In a Facebook post, Sexton blames accounting software problems for creating the appearance of missing funds. Sexton says the city switched accounting systems earlier this year and experienced technical issues, including power surges and lightning strikes that corrupted financial data. The mayor insists all money has been accounted for and welcomes the state investigation. The auditor's office has not set a timeline for completing its review. Earlier this month, a Neosho County deputy's patrol vehicle was struck head-on while legally parked off the roadway. The driver went off-center and hit the patrol unit. The deputy radioed in and activated emergency lights, but the vehicle's battery was damaged, delaying video retrieval until yesterday. The suspect, Jeremy Borton of Buffalo, Kansas, was arrested on multiple charges. We'll take a look at some more scary close calls along the roadside. Nearly 110 million Americans are hitting the roads this holiday season, but many drivers aren't following slow down, move over laws meant to protect roadside workers and emergency responders. And these camera clips show what can happen. Despite all 50 states having these laws, nearly 4 in 10 drivers fail to comply, putting lives at risk. Last year, 46 emergency responders were killed roadside, with 31 more already lost in 2025. Experts say distracted driving and weak enforcement made the problem worse, and speeding remains a deadly factor. A Missouri regulatory agency faces one more delay in its investigation of Liberty Utilities. The Missouri Public Service Commission has pushed back the deadline for completing its Liberty Utilities investigation to February 27th, nearly a year after it began. Originally set to wrap up last September, the probe has been delayed due to ongoing data reviews and numerous requests. The investigation stems from complaints about Liberty's electric, gas, and water services. Staff, Liberty officials, and the Public Counsel have been meeting monthly to assess billing and customer service. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up, Wendy Powell stopped by the studio to discuss body conditions and scoring cattle. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Well, welcome back for this Wildcat Wednesday. We're joined with Wendy Powell from the K-State Research and Extension Office in Labette County. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me.
Now, you are a livestock production agent, and so you have we're talking about a topic that is pretty close to home for you today.
That's right, yes. Cows are my favorite animal. And so today I wanted to talk about some body condition scoring. Like, how do we look at an animal and know how much we're going to spend in feed costs, right? It's a huge input, a huge factor on our bottom line. So what do we look at on the cow? Well, really, we have lots of different points on the animal where we can just look at her or him, bull, steer, whatever, and judge that condition. Are they rounded out? Are they looking full? Do we need to make some adjustments in our feeding plan? Things like that. And so that's what we need to be looking at whenever we're anticipating our future feed costs.
Yeah, I know you brought those key areas to evaluate for the BCS, and that's always something you guys kind of pinpoint and look at those specific areas.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a full-on scoring system, 1 through 7, of where we want these animals to be throughout their different gestational phases. And we're actually going to be talking a lot more in depth about this at our future calving school coming up January 7th, just around the corner. So anybody interested in that needs to go ahead and sign up for that program.
Perfect. Yeah, I was, talking about that program. Who's really going to get some value out of that? Who are kind of your guys' key audience for that?
Yeah, that's going to be any cattle producers. So it's going to be a full-on calving school where we have a model cow coming in, and Dr. A.J. Tarpoff is going to talk about manipulating that calf inside the cow to bring it into the world safely, when we need to call the vet, things like that. And then a couple of other local extension agents along with myself will be talking about putting together a calving kit and then this body condition scoring system and how that can impact our bottom line.
Yeah, I know, talking about that bottom line, you were talking to us earlier about, how some of these key areas and these key points when you guys are looking affect not only, how much feed you may be using and how much you might be spending there, but also, beef prices in the end as well.
Absolutely, yes. These animals are not cheap, and we want to take the best care of them possible. So we want to make for sure that they're healthy, they are reproductive, and they are productive.
Amazing. So this calving school sounds like it's going to be a great opportunity to maybe learn more. Maybe you learn something that you didn't have before. You said it was January 7th?
January 7th, yep. Folks can register online. Our Facebook pages, both Wildcat Extension District website and our Southwind Extension District websites have that information for registration, or call any of our offices. The Labette County Extension office is 620-784-5337.
Amazing. You guys are always doing such incredible work. For this calving school, is there a cost associated with it that people should keep in mind as well?
Absolutely not. This year we have some generous sponsors, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Cleaver Farm and Home, the Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas, Zoetis, and Merck Animal Health have all come together to pay for supper, so those cattle producers can come and learn and have a good meal and maybe do a little bit of networking in between speakers too.
Well, incredible. Well, thank you so much, Wendy, for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 717 on this Wednesday morning, last day of 2025, and it is going to be a good one. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, the future track, it doesn't look like it's doing anything simply because today there's really nothing going on. We've got clear skies, a light west breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and we'll continue with clear skies and calm conditions as we go overnight tonight and into the start of the new year. We'll have some clouds to start our Thursday, and then they should break up a bit by noon. And then later in the late afternoon, early evening hours, clouds will begin to return across the area, and we could get an isolated sprinkle or two, but the reason that disappeared is because future track has a very hard time with them. But you could see a couple of raindrops on your windshield as we go late tomorrow night. And then into Friday, this is, I wanted to do something to show you guys what we look at in terms of data, and also give you an idea as to what we mean when sometimes things just don't line up. And with showers, especially ones that are going to be isolated, you get 2 or 3 across the whole area, there's never really good agreement on it. So this is showing an actual shower, possibly, into Newata County. It's not a guarantee it's going to be right there at 3 a.m., but it's showing that scattered showers are going to be possible. This is a shower up into Linn County, it believes, at 5 a.m. This is another one. This is another model, but this one is the one that shows that rain is possible in this area. Doesn't mean it's a big shower across all of that. It just means it's possible. So there's some disagreement, but one thing that we are looking at as a consistency is across the whole area, we're going to have a chance for some isolated showers, but not everyone's going to see rain. Most of us will be dry, and most of what we get in terms of these showers should be fairly brief in nature, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. But just a heads up, could get some scattered showers throughout the day on Friday. We're otherwise mostly cloudy. Sunrise looks great this morning. We're going to start into the upper 20s, low 40s by 11 a.m. ahead of our highs climbing above normal, low to mid 50s out there. And as I mentioned, those west winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening, clear skies, mid 30s overnight and calm winds. And then breaking down that New Year's Eve forecast for you. If you're celebrating, of course, please celebrate responsibly. We want to, see all of you back probably Friday morning, unless you happen to stay up all night tonight and catch us at 5 a.m. tomorrow on KOAM. That's perfectly fine. If you sleep in, we want to see you back here Friday. So do celebrate responsibly, and things look good. Clear skies, mid 40s through the late evening, upper 30s and some low 40s around midnight, and then temperatures will continue to fall back a bit until we reach our overnight lows heading into New Year's Day. Highs tomorrow, mid 50s Friday, but those shower chances a little cooler still on Saturday. Warming back up next week, upper 50s, low mid 60s. Now next week we're watching Thursday, and the reason I want to mention Thursday specifically, it almost did it for me. Anyway, the reason I want to mention Thursday specifically here is simply because you see the temperature drop, and there's already been posts on social media and YouTube and all this stuff that they're practically declaring an end of the world event by next Thursday. That's not necessarily the case. We are getting signals, though, that we could get some strong to possibly severe storms by next Thursday. Still several days away. It's something we'll watch. We're letting you know now that we are watching it, but you don't need to enter the panic state just yet. But we'll monitor the trends. We know we're going to get some showers and storms to that cold front that's going to come through. It's just a matter of how much energy will be available for those storms. And as I mentioned, we'll keep an eye on it for you. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Today in Health Watch, Americans are being urged to get a flu shot as cases of the super flu are on the rise. Doctors say the new strain called subclade K is more severe and is already spreading rapidly in the UK. Common symptoms for the super flu include high fever, body aches, extreme fatigue, sore throat, and intense headaches. Doctors say it's not too late to protect yourself by getting a flu shot. The Centers for Disease Control recommends vaccination against the flu for everyone 6 months and older. Whether it's shoveling your cars or playing in the snow, many people are heading out into the cold and are at risk of some serious health conditions. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten has tips on how to protect yourself even on the chilliest days.
As winter weather blankets most of the country with snow and freezing temperatures, the cold can also heighten the risk of dangerous health conditions like hypothermia and frostbite. Health experts say these conditions can come in varying stages. Mild hypothermia can cause intense freezing and shivering.
When you get into moderate and severe ranges, you'll have confusion, decreased responsiveness.
Jenna Morgan at the Ohio State University's Wexner Medical Center says frostbite symptoms can be seen on the skin.
You can have some skin changes that manifest as changes in color and texture of your skin. But eventually, once the frostbite sets in, you will have decreased sensation to that area.
Morgan says the elderly and young children are the most vulnerable to developing cold-related health conditions because they often have decreased awareness and mobility. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends getting medical help immediately, but if you can't, warming the center of a person's body is the best alternative to treating hypothermia.
Apply warm packs or, hot water packs to your chest, your armpits, your back, and that way when circulation comes back to the core, it hits the warmest spots.
To prevent hypothermia or frostbite before it begins, Morgan recommends bundling up when heading out into frigid temperatures.
Wear a hat and a scarf in a warm coat. Avoid going outside with wet hair.
Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Well, coming up, we're looking back at the top news stories of 2025.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Samantha Walker. 2025 was certainly a year for the record books. And while we prepare for the new year, America's Newsroom co-host Bill Hummer takes a look back at the past 12 months and the top stories that shaped the news for this past year.
The year that was 2025, dominated by politics and war, and President Trump making big changes to the federal government. That while conflicts in Israel and Ukraine intensified, those stories and more dominating the headlines over the past 12 months.
The year started with a deadly terror attack in New Orleans. In the early hours of New Year's Day, an Islamic terrorist with ties to ISIS drove a truck into a crowd of people, then opened fire before being killed by police. 15 people lost their lives, including the attacker. Just a week later, a series of massive wildfires engulfed much of Southern California, centered near the city of Los Angeles. The fires burned for 24 days, destroying entire towns and neighborhoods. At least 31 were killed, and the economic losses topped $50 billion.
Repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Donald Trump became just the second president in American history to be sworn into a second non-consecutive term. And he hit the ground running, immediately signing dozens of executive orders aimed at undoing Biden-era policies and implementing his Make America Great Again agenda. Many of those orders, and others to come, tested the limits of executive authority, with Democrats pushing back through the courts. The Make America Healthy Again movement had a major impact in 2025, eliminating hundreds of harmful ingredients from the food supply, while pushing food manufacturers to take out the dyes and other chemicals. But it also created significant controversy over its targeting of vaccines. HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. claims they're a major cause of autism. Almost immediately, vaccination rates began to decline. And in June, Kennedy fired all 17 members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee. The replacements have since voted to overturn several vaccine recommendations, including COVID-19, hepatitis B for babies, and some flu vaccines. In Gaza, a ceasefire was declared in January after President Trump sent his envoy Steve Witkoff to pressure the Israelis. It lasted until March, when Israel began a major new offensive. Another ceasefire was reached in October. That remains in effect as diplomats work on phase 2 of the peace agreements. But it was a different story in Ukraine. The president's push for peace hit significant roadblocks.
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this.
Including a fiery Oval Office meeting with Ukraine's President Zelensky.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people.
The two presidents argued back and forth on live TV about whether Zelensky showed enough gratitude for America's support. Ultimately, the relationship was repaired, and there's now a new round of talks underway. Gaza wasn't the only Middle East conflict in 2025. Over the summer, Israel and Iran engaged in back-and-forth airstrikes over the Iranian nuclear program. And then, early on a Sunday morning in the month of June, the U.S. hit the 3 main Iranian enrichment sites in a series of devastating blows. It was called Operation Midnight Hammer. The Pentagon says Iran's nuclear program was set back at least 2 years. The world lost a spiritual leader. Pope Francis passed away. He was mourned as a pope of the people who re-engaged Christians around the world and reached out to other faiths along the way. Just 2 weeks later, the conclave to pick his successor began, and after intense speculation, the College of Cardinals elected the first American pope in the history of the Catholic Church. He was from Chicago. Robert Prevost began his papacy in May. He's now known as Pope Leo the 24th. Almost immediately after taking office, President Trump began a mass deportation program. ICE raids became common sights in immigrant communities as hundreds of thousands were sent back to their countries of origin. The deportations initially focused on immigrant criminals, but they've now broadened to include groups like farm workers and those under temporary protected status. Those ICE raids were met with protests, including some that turned violent. In Los Angeles, clashes between demonstrators and law enforcement prompted President Trump to deploy thousands of National Guard members. Their mission was to protect federal property and help ICE deal with violent protesters during immigration raids. That became a standard tactic. In at least 7 cities, ICE crackdowns were accompanied by federal troops. And in Washington, those troops never left. President Trump claims they're needed to secure the nation's capital. A lawsuit challenging their deployment is making its way through the courts. Over the 4th of July weekend, deadly flooding in central Texas. At least 135 Americans losing their lives when the Guadalupe River overflowed. Many of the casualties there were young girls from a Christian summer camp. A shocking tragedy in our nation's capital. 2 West Virginia National Guard members were targeted by an alleged Islamic militant. Guard member Sarah Beckstrom was killed, while Andrew Wolf was seriously injured. Law enforcement says it was a deliberate ambush. The shooter is now in custody. He reportedly worked for the CIA in Afghanistan and came to the U.S. in September of 2021. President Trump immediately halting immigration applications for all Afghan nationals, and asylum claims for most third world countries are now barred.
Now looking ahead to the new year in 2026. We will see if the ceasefire in Gaza holds and how Team USA does in the World Cup here at home. We're also keeping a close eye on the midterm elections to see whether or not the Republicans can hold the majority. And of course, we will be here for all of it. In New York, Bill Hemmer, Fox News.
Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
That was a long look back at the top stories of 2025. But, you know, a lot happened. I could probably take 10 minutes and go back over everything we've had weather-wise, but I will not. We'll just get you through today. And today, a fantastic day. A bit chilly to start. Clear skies downtown Pittsburgh. Sun is rising. Our camera, 7th in range line, looks good. Clouds well off to our east. KDOT camera 69-400, looking along 171 here. Looks good as well. And the last stop, of course, the MoDOT camera 20th in range line in Joplin, also looking pretty good this morning. Temperatures, though, again, a bit on the cold side. Some of us pretty close to normal, others a bit below. We're at 29 in Joplin, 27 in Pittsburgh, and around the region. We've had a good mix. Miami has been one of the colder spots for a good portion of the morning, still is at 18 degrees. Cassville, the warmer spot right now, sitting at 31 with Fort Scott right behind. Most of us, though, in low, mid, and upper 20s. And even though it's still below normal and it's still pretty darn cold in Miami, you're still warmer than yesterday by 6 degrees. 5 degrees warmer in Grove. Not a huge jump, but it's warmer. It's a positive. That's good. The rest of us, though, look at these numbers. 10, 15, almost 20 degrees warmer this morning than where we were 24 hours ago. And our warming trend will hold on through the afternoon. Future track, it's moving. It's just, this is a really calm, quiet weather day, which we deserve, honestly, as we wrap up 2025. Clear skies, west winds about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Temperatures just a bit above normal. A great day, really. We'll go low 30s by 9, upper 40s by noon. Our highs today into the low to mid 50s. And we will break down your New Year's Eve forecast if you're celebrating tonight. And we'll take a look at the weekend and some rain chances in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The city of Pittsburgh is partnering with local churches to offer warming centers for those who need them. The temporary centers open when the temperature is below 20 degrees overnight. They do not offer laundry or showers, but they are a place for people to get out of the cold. A Kansas community came together to remember a young life last night. A memorial parade was held in Pleasanton for 13-year-old Aaron Andula on Main Street after his body was discovered in Bates County, Missouri last Monday. Participants brought motorcycles, race cars, and big rigs, and lifted trucks to reflect Aaron's passion for Hot Wheels. The touching tribute passed the funeral home in a show of community support. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Workers are finding creative new ways to score interviews using dating apps. In Consumer Watch, some big changes will be coming to McDonald's near you. The fast food giant says they're trying to turn things around as the company sees profits falling from ongoing inflation and economic uncertainty. McDonald's says it will be expanding its rewards program, and on January 1st, the company will be offering a new franchising model to ensure that every location charges the same for their products. They will also roll out AI in more than 43,000 restaurants in order to cut down on wait times and help with equipment issues, as well as start a program to try to encourage the use of card instead of cash for purchases, while they also encourage the use of their mobile ordering process. And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:43, almost 7:44 on the last day of 2025. Got just a handful of hours left, so let's see, it'd be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours and 16 minutes. Hey, how about that? Look, my math skills are not that great, all right? I struggled through math, but everything else, I did all right. And we're going to take a look at this forecast, which I think the forecast is all right. Now, I don't control it, but it looks good. Today, clear skies, a light west breeze, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Temperatures a bit above normal. Very nice day. New Year's Eve going into tonight and tomorrow. If you're celebrating, again, celebrate responsibly, but it looks to be pretty good. Get some clouds tomorrow morning, then they'll break up a bit as we head into the afternoon. And then by late afternoon, early evening, clouds will begin to return. Could get an isolated late sprinkle or two, but that's why that disappears. Is it's a sprinkle, future track with a sprinkle, man, it's hard to pick up on, but it's at least suggesting it's a possibility. Then tomorrow, starting in the morning, we got two different forecast models I wanted to show you because it gives you a good idea as to the differences we see. One is this one, and this one, it's hard to tell the difference, but I'll show you. This is suggesting the possibility of a shower Friday morning, 3 a.m. in Newada County. Not a guarantee it's going to be right there, but it's hinting at scattered showers. This one is different from this one. This is showing the possibility of a shower here. This is highlighting that rain would be possible in that zone. And so that's where we get into the scattered shower situation. The possibilities are going to be anywhere across the area on Friday, but the chances of actual showers are low. They're going to be isolated in nature. In most cases, if we see any, very brief. So we're looking at just some isolated to widely scattered showers Friday. Nothing too crazy. Otherwise, it's mostly cloudy. Still warm, though. Through this morning, clear skies, upper 20s to start, low 40s by 11 a.m. Our highs today, again, a bit above normal as we go into the low to mid 50s with those clear skies, west winds 5 to 10. Clear through the evening. Don't worry. I'm going to break down New Year's Eve for you, and we'll eventually fall back into the mid-30s tonight with calm winds. As I mentioned, please celebrate responsibly if you're staying up even to midnight. I know I certainly won't be. I've got to be here tomorrow morning. There's no way I can stay up all night for that, and I'm not waking up early for it either, all right? So mid-40s through the early evening or late evening. Upper 30s, low 40s as we bring in the new year, and the temperatures will continue to drop until we get to our lows in the mid-30s. We'll be into the mid-50s tomorrow and on Friday. A little cooler Saturday, big warm-up next week. Upper 50s, low mid-60s. Now, next Thursday, scattered storms. You see that temperature drop. We look at getting our first real system that's going to bring some rain. That's going to be good. It will bring our temperatures down a bit. It's a pretty potent looking system. Now, if you go on social media or YouTube or whatever, you'll see all these kids and stuff posting. They've got red highlights all over us and basically predicting the end of the world next Thursday. That's not the case, but we are looking at some signs that we could be looking at some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms on Thursday with this system. It's something we're going to watch very closely. We're not at end of the world status. We're not at panic status, but we want to watch it. We'll keep you updated. We know one way or another we are getting some showers, maybe some storms. It's just going to be a matter of how much energy is going to be available for those storms by next Thursday. And as I mentioned, we'll keep a close eye on it for you. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
This wasn't your typical police chase. On Christmas Eve, officers in Sandy Springs, Georgia, located a man they had been looking for at a golf course.
Well, when the suspect saw officers closing in, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. He took off in a golf cart, so officers gave chase. on a golf cart, hopefully keeping score because they've got the scorecard there.
You know what? This is a fair fight, though.
I like
you know?
this. This is good. They were probably having more fun with this than they probably should.
The officers eventually caught the man and arrested him. Police have not yet released his name or the charges he's facing.
That's interesting. The department recently added a golf cart to its fleet. And it's equipped to do pit maneuvers. Why not? I mean, honestly, why not? I
get it for like ATVs and all of that stuff when you're going off-road. They're going off-road. A golf cart? For what? For the parade?
Oh, Lord, that's fantastic.
Somebody at home is going to get some ideas for their department.
I know. There are police chiefs watching right now going, you know what? We don't have
golf cart.
Forget the drone program, guys. Golf carts are where it's at. Well, people looking for work are loving the love apps to help them find it. A new survey from ResumeBuilder.com says about a third of dating app users are now using them to get matched up with jobs and careers.
The job seekers are using their dating profiles to help them find desirable companies or specific roles to get around the difficulties of the job market. Dating matchups often produce the opportunities to meet someone and get tips about where to find jobs.
So bad. This is me finding somebody. Now, I'm married, obviously, but I mean, like, you're a single person. You meet somebody, you find them on the dating app, you go out on the date and you just straight up, look, I find you vulgar, offensive, there's nothing about you I like, but your career path looks good and I'd like to know how you did it.
Well, now you have an excuse if you have a dating app on your phone and your spouse finds it. You could just be like, no, honey, I was just looking for a new job. That's what that was.
Nope. Well, they're using them because of a number of reasons. I guess there's competition on LinkedIn, and they've decided to, find other ways to, find a job. Lots of fun there. That's interesting.
Maybe that speaks more to like the state of our world and our economy. That people are like, forget love. That's not what Tinder or Bumble is for.
That's not what it's for. It's for your career. Well, all right.
For your career.
Well, what else have we got down here on the list? Okay, here we go. This
has a fun title, so I'm excited.
Are you sure?
Maybe. Giving birth inside of a hospital is the ideal scenario for most mothers. However, babies often have their own plans.
That's true.
And that was the case for a baby born in Utah last week.
Karina Largo says her water broke a few days before Christmas and she immediately went to the hospital. She walked into the lobby. Nurses quickly noticed Largo needed a wheelchair and jumped into action.
Just 3 minutes later, baby Jackson was born, delivered on the floor of the lobby under the hospital's Christmas tree.
I love that.
Largo says it was a great unplanned gift.
Well, the family got another gift after the birth when the hospital gave them a Christmas tree, the same tree that Jackson was born under. That's a cute story.
That's a cute story. But also maybe they gifted the tree because they're like, you know what? You can have that one. Now.
All right, so if one of your New Year's resolutions is to give up swearing, you might want to rethink your plan. Interesting. That's because new research has found swearing can actually be beneficial to with your exercise routine. Okay.
Then I should be the fittest person around. It can improve your physical performance by helping you push yourself harder. Researchers had nearly 200 participants repeat a swear word or neutral word every 2 seconds.
What's a neutral? Never mind.
While performing a chair push-up.
I found that people who used the swear words were able to support their body weight significantly longer than those who used a neutral word. The author of the study says that people tend to hold themselves back both consciously and unconsciously, or I think subconsciously is probably what that meant, so they don't get their full strength. Interesting. So if I'm jogging down the street swearing like a sailor, it's for my benefit.
For your health, yes.
All right, we got another check of your forecast right after this.
This is your Wake Up Recap for December 31st, your top stories to start your day. Firefighters in Fidelity, Missouri responded to a house fire yesterday that started in the kitchen and quickly spread. The large amount of objects in the yard and inside the home forced crews to fight the fire from a neighboring property and cut through the side of the house to get water inside. The male resident escaped safely and the Red Cross is now assisting him. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And again, above average temperatures today. A nice day, sunny skies, low mid 50s, west winds 5 to 10. Clear through the evening and overnight down to the mid 30s. I'm going to get to your New Year's Eve forecast. Again, please celebrate responsibly. We're looking at mid 40s by 8, 10 o'clock, upper 30s, low 40s by midnight. And the temperatures again eventually dropping back into the mid 30s overnight. We're going to head into the mid 50s tomorrow and Friday. Clouds increasing tomorrow, maybe a sprinkle, a couple isolated showers possible on Friday. We'll start warming up next week ahead of another system that's going to bring us some shower and storm chances. Like I said, we're keeping an eye on that system for you. Nothing to worry about just yet, but we'll watch those storms next week.
Well, pretty nice for New Year's Eve because it's that time again. The ball drops, the fireworks fly, and the crowds cheer.
Now, around the world, revelers will gather for New Year's Eve celebrations, obviously tonight, gleefully, hopefully, ringing in 2026 at the stroke of midnight, unless they're exercising, and then they won't sound so gleeful. The practice of ringing in the new year dates back to at least 2000 BC.
The earliest known celebrations were in Mesopotamia. Different cultures have used different dates over the millennia.
And Romans used March 1st as New Year's Days. Other cultures used the autumn equinox or the winter solstice. In 1582, the Roman Catholic Church adopted the Gregorian calendar, which marks January 1st as the new year. All right, see? So that's why it's so fun to say, we'll see you next year and again today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.